Welcome to the introduction video for the VMD Vendor. In this video, we're going to cover the initial setup and texturing and placing your vendor online to sell stuff. Like many things in Second Life, we're going to drag the vendor box from our inventory and res it into Second Life. When the vendor is initially resed, it will have hover text over it that says, please accept debit permissions. If you fail to do this, then that hover text will remain, and clicking the vendor will pop up this accept debit permissions box again, allowing you to accept debit permissions. We're going to go ahead and allow access to clear that hover text. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is to add items to this vendor. I have some milk crates in my inventory. I'm going to select a few of them, and I'm going to use the control drag to drag the items into the vendor. As you can see, the vendor updates with the quantity of items that I put inside it. Due to a limitation in Second Life, we highly recommend you do not control drag more than about 20 to 25 items. If you do so, you're taking a great risk of losing those items. If you have a couple of hundred items you need to move into a vendor, we recommend you box them up and use the UUID transfer option, which we'll talk about in another video, or move those hundreds of items in groups of about 20 to 25 into the vendor. No more than that. Okay. With the items inside the vendor, the next thing I want to do is set a price. So I click the vendor to get the menu, click the price button, and I'm going to put in the number 2. I'm going to sell these milk crates for 2 lindens each. Then I'm going to want a texture and some writing on the vendor crate so that people will actually know what's in it, what they're buying. To do that, I go to the Customize option and then Texture. Now, this vendor is straight out of the inventory with all of the default values. You can make a template vendor, which has many values automatically set how you want them, but this one is basic, just like you just now bought it. So because of that, it does not have a theme assigned. Notice current theme, there's nothing there. So before applying a texture, I need to select the theme. I'm going to do that by clicking Change. Here's a list of all the allowed themes. I prefer the VMD Personal theme. This theme is available to anyone who is a VMD Patreon at the $10 level or more. Everyone has access to the regular VMD and the VMD Pick or Picture theme. But as I said, I'm going to select VMD Personal, so I'm going to select 0. Now we can see it says current theme VMD Personal. Because I have items already inside the vendor, all I need to do then is click this Auto button. Then the vendor will read the name of the items inside it and automatically apply the correct texture. So by clicking Auto, and there it is, just that simple. Now, what you just witnessed is the process for DFS, or Digital Farm System items. If you're setting your vendor up for another system, such as My Story or GNS or Potted, you will not see the texture right away. Instead, the texture will appear after you finalize the vendor. So we're going to go to the main menu. I've got my price set. I've got the texture set. I click the Finalize button. And if this was GNS or My Story, this is when your texture would appear. And this vendor is now online and ready to sell items. It will also be listed on the VMD website so that people can easily find your market and buy your items. If you wish to make a change, like you put in the wrong price or something like that, that's easy to do, but you can no longer left click on an online vendor because that pops up this menu to buy milk. So I'm going to cancel that. To get to the menu, if your vendor is online and selling items, you right click, use the right mouse button to click. You'll get a menu, Second Life menu, and you use the info button. That brings up this additional menu and your menu options rather. I'm going to take this vendor offline by clicking the offline button because I don't need people showing up to buy milk. And then, like I say, you could change the price. You could do whatever you need to do. If you needed to add more items to it, you can simply drag and control drag some more items. You don't even have to take it offline to add items. You can add items to an online menu, online vendor with no problems whatsoever. I do want to show you one other thing while we're here. In the Customize menu option, you have a button called L Type. This is list type and determines the type of listing that this vendor falls under. The default list type is DFS, but by clicking that button, you can see these other options such as GNS, Potted, My Story that we talked about just a minute ago. And remember, if you're setting up a vendor for one of these other systems, you will not see your texture until you finalize the vendor. Okay, I'm going to click Done to close the menu. And that concludes this introduction video on setting up your initial processes for the VMD vendor. Thank you.